Well, it has become quite obvious to anybody, and this isn't even new, and I think it's probably a recurring theme for most artists throughout the ages, that the overlords are obviously myopically, fucking criminally insane, retarded. And there's probably a lot more adjectives you could throw in there, but then we'd get out of control. But what we're saying is, let's go right on back to the beginning, okay? Imagine where it was 14 billion years ago, okay? Everything was a point. And then, shortly after it was a point, it started spreading out at light speed or quicker, and everything was hell. It was pure hell, and it was hell for a long time. Even after atoms came along, it was pure hell. And in pure hell, I mean, hell is just a word. It's a concept for a place where you can't be. It's not heaven yet. And as the universe got a little bit older and started to chill out a little bit and find itself some patterns, get some things swinging around stars and whatnot, and galaxies and what else you got? Galaxies and solar systems and stuff like that. And just a short break and a message from our sponsor, and we'll be back with whatever to the next point. This program is being brought to you by AIMTcult.org. But I think we're going to drop the initial idea to try and lead everything up to these bloody tyrants that are running the place or into the ground, and try not to separate the tyrants from the us, because that is actually what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to get to the point where we realize that we are God. And perhaps when you think that we are gods, it helps to understand the individual. But then again, the individual is a very temporary thing. Most individuals live anywhere from 30 to 80 years, and then they're gone. And then there's the memories of the individual. If the individual does a whole bunch of neat shit, then people will remember him, like Galileo or Hitler or Nietzsche or George Bush. Those kind of concepts and ideas will be remembered in our society. Or society is not even the right word, in our language, in our mimics, in our communication. Now, maybe we'll use the concept, the idea of communication is our endpoint, where we want to get to, where the communication, the communizing, the many becoming one again. And I think almost what we're trying to do is, I mean, I don't like the word God because it's been abused for thousands of years, just like the name Jesus Christ has been totally abused by everyone. We've got to get these words out of it and get down to, and I mean, naming of things has actually caused us a lot of fucking misconceptions. So let's try and see it vaguely and keep our minds open towards the future. And we got to remember that we are just barely waking up, just barely getting started. We're not even at the beginning line yet. It's like it's a 100-yard dash, and we haven't even got our toes in the stirrups yet. And the 100-yard dash will take us probably at least 100 billion years, and we don't even know anything about dark energy, so it might even be longer than the universe is good for. Anyway, that's getting a little bit out of perspective, so let's get back to the beginning of the universe and realize that everything has taken a long time to spread out and cool down and eventually find themselves in patterns, and you get the odd place like the planet Earth where you get a big spinning ball of molten lava and a cooling on the crust and then a constant warming of the sun. And we can get into those details if you want one day, but you can get those somewhere else. But what I'm trying to get to is, when a universe is old enough, and still young enough, of course, because it's good to get things started early, somewhere, someplace, there's going to be a life support system in the universe, a life support system. Now, there are life support systems all over the universe, and the life will get as advanced as bacteria, and maybe even others, one or two celled creatures will be found other places, but more than bacteria is not on many places, but even on comets and meteorites. And when you get to the planet Earth, even on the planet Earth, you aren't more than algae or bacteria billions of years, probably 2.5 billion years, 3 billion years, only bacteria and algae. And I mean, it's good to have that because you get your basic life support system, you got your starter kit, and you got your starter kit all through the universe, so you only need a couple of places like the planet Earth, and you get yourself an inn. Okay? What you got is yourself, myself, us self, we got ourselves an inn. And what is this self thing? This self thing is the becoming of God. And now we've got the luxury after the beginning of the universe to have all these dimensions in space and time, so that as we become God, we can do it from countless perspectives. And we need these countless perspectives because to be God is a really big fucking job. And what I'm going to try to say is that being 6 billion people could be an advantage to us if we could get all those heads working. I mean, as ignorant slaves, they're pretty well useless, or we are pretty well useless, because, I mean, it is us, and we're a thing. And this thing is kept alive through language and habit and ancestor worship, which I find retarded, but in a way, it does keep us, it keeps us alive. It keeps us reincarnating us. And this us thing, it can develop, and it has developed, and it will develop. And when it wakes up and realizes that even though that fucker next door is an ugly prick, it still is me. And I don't know how to work around it. So, yeah, I wouldn't invite him into my house. I mean, I'm not thinking of anybody here. I'm actually getting off topic. What I'm trying to think about is communication. Communication, the universe. Okay, we'll get to the fact that we're